Hello, today is the 18th of February 2011, and in this video we're going to look at linear versus logarithmic charts. A linear chart is where each gap has the same nominal value. For example, on this silver Wheaton chart, on the linear chart, which is on the bottom, each one of these gaps represents 5 units, or 5 fiat dollars in this case. And the problem that linear charts can produce is if you look at, say, the difference in this series in here, it goes from 5 to 10, and that's a gain of 100% from bottom to top. Whereas, say, for example, in here, from 20 to 25, the difference is still 5, but now we're looking at only a gain of about 25% from bottom to top, and the percentages would keep going lower. Now, in a logarithmic chart, the difference from each line is the exact same percentage-wise, and sometimes it makes it a little bit easier to view some of the charts. For example, when you look at the logarithmic chart on the top part of the screen, you can see that this retracement that we have recently had is really tiny and the same as all the ones within this bull market, where here it looks like, wow, the market has just really plummeted. Well, at least these ones weren't so bad, when in reality they were the same. And we're going to look at quite a few different charts. This is silver wheat, and the next one is the Dow Jones Industrial Average. This is the yearly chart, and it's a massive difference. The one on the left-hand side is the linear chart. It looks like nothing's happening over here, where in fact a lot of stuff happened. Also, the most recent time frame here, it's a little choppy, yet it's just showing a small sideways time consolidation, sort of like it had back in the 1960s and 1970s. So there's a big example where you'd probably want to use a logarithmic chart in trying to determine how to view the charts. If I can draw a little trend line in here, I think, well, if the Dow does any major crashing, then this is the trend line that I think it would hit. And in reality, right now, if we take a look at where this thing is, it's below the 45.68 level, so there could be a lot of potential downside on a logarithmic view to keep the Dow Jones on a bullish case. And where if it goes down to 45.68, it would be a small move here, yet it would bring it down to somewhere around here on the linear chart. The next one is the U.S. national debt ceiling. I put this chart up a few days ago, and I had one person mention that they kind of wanted to see it on a logarithmic view. Well, here we are. This is a logarithmic chart. So the first little increase here, we can see a little bit better here. This time consolidation shows the same thing. But what's very interesting is whenever a logarithmic chart has parabolic gains like this, then that's when things are getting out of control. Hyperinflation should show signs like this. We haven't seen that yet, but this is out of control. When a logarithmic chart looks like this, that's pretty scary, to say the least. The next one is the 15-minute line chart of silver going back to the summer of this year. And if you look at the actual movements of the charts, you really don't see too much of a difference in here. I think the only real difference you can see is the trend line. This is a trend line that I've been following ever since the rally has been going on. And if we look at the bottom, which is the linear chart, we try to draw a straight line, straight line to match it. You see how this disconnect comes into play here as this trend line goes higher, Whereas if I were to put a trend line up here, it's going to match it perfectly. The next chart is silver on the monthly time frame. Exact same chart, but the one on the left-hand side is a linear chart. And if we take a straight line, for example, we'll draw a straight line at the 2008 highs, and we'll make it as straight as I can. There we go. And what we'll do is we'll draw the difference from the top to the bottom of this chart. That's pretty close. That's close enough anyway. And we can see that the difference is the same as it is going back to these levels close to the bottom at roughly about 11 and change or so. Where if we do the same thing on a logarithmic chart, the breakout isn't as big. So it's not up quite as much. And if you're looking at linear charts, thinking, "Oh my, these stocks looks like it's up way too much." Well, that's because that's the nature of linear charts, where the difference of height is only going back to about $14 per ounce. So a really big difference there, in my opinion. As far as the quarterly charts are concerned, some major differences here compared to this. You can at least see this a little bit better. As I was saying with the national debt, when the logarithmic charts really gets out of control, that means there's something going on, and that's what happened back in the late 1970s, and could very potentially even happen again here on this logarithmic chart during the next few months and potentially even years within the silver price. Now, as far as what's going on today, this is today's action up to 11 a.m. Eastern Time on silver, and the one on the left is a linear chart, and the one on the right is a logarithmic chart. Now, do you really notice any differences? Yeah, sure, the numbers on the left here compared to these ones, they're a little different. But if you look at where what the charts are showing us, they are the exact same. And the whole point of view on this is whenever you're dealing with smaller numbers, it really doesn't make much of a difference. If you use linear or logarithmic, it's pretty much the exact same. But whereas if you use one, say like this, you can get a totally different chart. Now, I'd like to thank everybody who has really participated in joining the silverlog.blogspot. These are the page hits that I have been receiving, and it's been really amazing. Whereas if I were to draw a straight line, this is the exponential chart, or this is the logarithmic chart, I can see that I'm in a nice little trading range, or at least an upward range as far as page views are concerned, which is telling me that my views are growing exponentially. That's like totally amazing. So I'd like to thank everybody for joining or going onto the page. I'm going to do what I can to even make it better over the next, for the month of February, that is. So I'm going to try to do what I can. Keep on updating it. I like updating it at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time with all of the day's action. I think that's working out very, very well. But as far as the charts are concerned, you can see how you got a much bigger difference here. This trend line was broke. And then again, you can see that this one is breaking. So big, big difference in the two. So thank you for watching. If you have any questions, leave them down below, and take care.